There are these 4 crochet stitches that are all quite similar: popcorn, bobble, puff stitch and cluster. They are all formed in such a way that you put several of the same stitch together, and they can also be used in similar ways. You can either have some of these stitches in a project, or you can make a whole project using one, like a baby blanket or a scarf or something. And for each of these, there are also different ways of how you put them together, how many you have per row, how many rows you have in between, or if you don't have any. So they are also good stitches for using your creativity. But I do notice that people often mix them up, and that's why this video now. So now we are just going to take a quick look at each one. We are starting with the popcorn stitch. It's the least rounded. If you look at it from the side, it's sort of sticking out. And that's because the stitches are left sort of protruding out. So let's make one. I have some stitches in between, so I'll do a double crochet here, and we will do the popcorn in this here stitch. Now they can be a different size. You can use 4, 5 or 6 stitches at least. Probably 3 would work too to make a small one, but I'll do 5. It's sort of a standard. So what you do is 5 double crochets using the American term into one stitch. And remember that if the tutorial is going too fast or too slow, it's easy to change the speed in the settings. Nothing in between. And you finish each one off. 4, 5. Now there's 5, and I pull the stitch a little bit so I don't lose it, and I'll go into the first of these. So 5th from that, the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the first one. And then put the stitch back into the hook and tighten the stitch and pull it through where your hook had been inserted. So that's it. Like that, it closes it tight and it sticks out like that. And then you continue with whatever else you are doing. I was just doing some double crochets in between. So this here was the popcorn stitch. And next we are looking at the bobble stitch. These are like big round balls that you can set either in rows or alternating or whatever way. Either have lots of them together or just one here or there. This is different from all the others because it has to be done from the wrong side, and you need to do it on a single crochet row. So that's why I haven't started the row yet. So I'll start the row with 3 single crochets, and now there's the next stitch where I'm going to do that the bobble, and here also I'm going to use 5 double crochets, or you could do 3, 4 or even 6. But the difference to the popcorn stitch is that you start the double crochets but you don't finish. So you leave the last stage of the double crochet undone. 3, 4, 5. It may be easiest to count the loops on the hook instead of the stitches because they're so tightly together. For 5 double crochets you have 6 loops on the hook because we already had one. So that's 6 now. And then take a yarn over and pull the yarn through pretty tightly through all of them. And then what you do, we are on the wrong side now, so sort of push it out a little bit. That's the way it becomes a bobble. And then you continue straight again with single crochets, at least 1, depending on how tightly you want them together. So I had 2 in between, so now I would do the next one. And then I continue the whole row the same way. Then onto the puff stitch. I said with the bobble stitch that it's the only one that you would do from the wrong side, but also the puff stitch is better on the other side than where you are working with it if you are doing it on every 2nd or every 4th row. But you can do it like this as well. so that you have it on every row and alternate them, or then also on every row you could put them directly on top of each other. But let's make one now. I haven't had any stitches in between here. You could of course do that as well. Chain one, and then I'll skip that there one and do the puff stitch in the next one. And the way it goes, yarn over, insert the hook and pull the stitch to the same height with the other ones. And if you have started like me here, if you have started with double crochets, the puffs need to be the same height as the double crochet, but you can also do them bigger. So you could have trebles here and then much bigger puffs. And now we repeat that 3 more times. So yarn over, pull a stitch, here. Now I have done that 4 times, plus we had that 1 stitch there, so we have 9 loops on the hook. And again you could do less or more. And then take another yarn over and pull through all of these and secure it with a stitch, tight stitch there. And then you continue. I'll do another one fast here. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that there. Then lastly, the cluster stitch. It's different from the others in that it's not sort of 3-dimensional. Again, this one you can do it with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 double crochets, or also trebles or half double crochets. I'm just showing the very basic one here. First I chain 2 to get to that. And this also looks different depending on how close you put them together, or if you have rows in between. And this is something that's used a lot in lace crochet as well. I have used 4 double crochets here. So you start double crochets, but don't finish them. 4 of them. This is the 4th one. And then you take a yarn over and you pull through. And normally also then you need a chain stitch so that it stays together well. Then I have another stitch to go to the next one. So that's a basic cluster. Here we have all of them. Each one is useful for so many different projects, and it's helpful to separate them from each other. Have you tried them all? If so, do you have a favorite? I think my favorite of these is the bobble stitch, and that's why I also do it at times in different colors. So you could next check out this here video where I'm showing how to do multicolor bobble stitches. Till next time!